Welcome to another episode of Shadows of the Tarot. Police involvement had become unavoidable after the grim discovery of Piper's lifeless body in the casino apartment. Forensic experts had painstakingly gathered all available evidence, each clue crucial in understanding what had transpired in the days leading up to her death. The investigation took a dark turn after Eddie's mysterious disappearance, prompting the department to expand their team. They brought in a profiler named Nathan, someone with an extensive background in understanding criminal behavior and the complex motivations behind unsolved cases. Nathan's addition to the team wasn't a coincidence. His expertise in criminal psychology made him an ideal candidate to help navigate the increasingly disturbing pattern of murders that had plagued the city, each one linked by the disturbing discovery of missing feet. As the police began to piece together the puzzle, they soon labeled the killer the Foot Fetish Killer, a chilling moniker that only deepened the sense of dread surrounding the case. Nathan, however, was not only interested in the evidence or the case details. He was deeply invested in the psychological aspects of the crimes, particularly the disturbing fetish that seemed to drive the killer. His mind raced as he sifted through the evidence, looking for patterns and clues that could reveal a deeper understanding of the killer's motivations. What truly pushed Nathan to delve further, however, was a personal connection he felt to the victims. A recent tragic event in his own life had left him with a heightened sensitivity to the pain and suffering of others. This tragedy, one that still haunted him, fueled his determination to solve the case, not just to bring justice to the victims, but to provide himself with the closure he so desperately needed. Nathan himself was a striking figure. Tall and lean, his appearance was weathered in a way that spoke to an active, outdoorsy lifestyle. His dark hair was often tousled, as if he had just returned from an early morning run or a grueling day of fieldwork. His blue eyes were piercing and sharp, conveying a sense of intensity that made those around him feel that he could see right through them. A stubbled jawline only added to the roughness of his demeanor, giving him an almost rugged quality. Despite his rough exterior, Nathan's clothing was always well chosen for both practicality and style. He favored dark jeans and fitted shirts, clothes that allowed him to move freely but also subtly hinted at a keen fashion sense. It was a careful balance between comfort and confidence, and he wore it well, as if his entire appearance was meant to convey that he was someone who could handle both the physical and mental challenges that came with his line of work. Nathan was not working alone on this case. He had been assigned a team of 4 seasoned police officers to assist him, each with their own expertise and insights. They were a close-knit group, having worked together on multiple cases, and Nathan quickly found himself blending in with their dynamic. As they gathered around, Nathan took a moment to convey his deepest sympathies for the possible loss of Detective Eddie. The officers, though appreciative of his kind words, exchanged somber glances. They expressed their growing fear that Eddie would never be found. The weight of their shared concern hung heavily in the room, an unspoken acknowledgement of the troubling reality they were facing. One of the officers, a grizzled veteran with years of experience, broke the silence with a question that had clearly been on his mind. "Nathan, how does someone decide to become a profiler?" he asked, his voice rough but tinged with curiosity. Nathan thought for a moment, then leaned back slightly in his chair, allowing himself a small smile. "Well," he began, his tone casual, "I grew up in a small coastal town, where there wasn't much to do except surf and analyze people," he joked, his dry sense of humor immediately lightening the atmosphere in the room. The officers chuckled, though they could tell there was more to the story than just his playful tone. Nathan's expression grew more serious as he continued. "But in all honesty, my fascination with psychology and human behavior started early. I guess I was always drawn to understanding why people do the things they do, especially when it doesn't make sense to anyone else." He paused, allowing his words to sink in before he continued. "Later in life, I earned a PhD in forensic psychology and spent over a decade working with people like you, police officers and detectives, on complex, often disturbing cases. I guess you could say it's a combination of curiosity and a deep need to understand the human mind. And well, I guess I'm here now, trying to make sense of what seems like an impossible puzzle." The officers listened intently, their respect for Nathan growing as he spoke. Despite his serious background, Nathan had a way of relating to the team that made him seem approachable and grounded. His analytical mind and sharp observations were complemented by his ability to keep the mood from becoming too heavy. His dry humor, though subtle, was an asset in helping them all cope with the disturbing nature of the case. As the team settled into their roles, they began to work together more seamlessly. They started to form a profile for the foot fetish killer, piecing together the evidence and trying to understand the psychology behind the bizarre fetish that seemed to be at the heart of the crimes. Nathan's insight into the human psyche was invaluable, and the officers soon realized they had made the right decision bringing him on board. His perspective helped them connect the dots in ways they hadn't been able to before, and as the team worked late into the night, the pieces of the puzzle slowly started to come together. Nathan had always envisioned himself as a man who could effortlessly captivate a room, his presence magnetic and his charm undeniable. He believed he had the ability to engage others with ease, drawing them in with witty conversation and a natural charisma that made people feel instantly at ease. His keen sense of humor and infectious energy often positioned him as the life of the party, someone others gravitated toward without hesitation. However, beneath this polished exterior lurked a far more calculated and sinister nature. Nathan was not just intelligent, he was meticulous, a man who thrived on control and precision. Every move he made was carefully thought out, each interaction analyzed for potential leverage. His sharp observational skills allowed him to read emotions effortlessly, an ability he wielded like a weapon to manipulate those around him. When he tasked his team with reviewing past cases involving victims found with missing feet, he expected them to come up empty-handed. At first, they did, until one officer stumbled upon an unusual report. A car accident had left a woman dead, but the details were peculiar. One of her feet had been missing. Investigators at the time dismissed it as a tragic misadventure, assuming an animal had taken the severed limb. Other than cases involving mechanical accidents where feet had been lost, this was the only anomaly that stood out. Now, however, Nathan saw it as something more, perhaps even a vital clue in the disturbing puzzle he was piecing together. The officer immediately alerted Nathan, who listened intently as more details of the old accident emerged. Nathan asked whether anyone else had been in the car at the time, and the officer quickly skimmed through the report before responding. "Well, it's noted here that her son survived the accident," he said. Nathan leaned back, rubbing his stubble thoughtfully. That would put the boy at just about the right age to be their perpetrator. A tragic event like that could have shaped him in unimaginable ways, setting him on a dark and violent path. Without wasting time, Nathan instructed his team to gather every piece of information they could on Sam Carter. The profiler was tasked with studying his past, tracking his addresses, places of employment, and any patterns that aligned with their case. As the days passed and the investigative work intensified, the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together. They confirmed where Sam currently lived and worked, and his previous residences eerily matched the locations where their victims had disappeared. In their command center, a crime board displayed a chilling collage, photographs of severed feet from the freezer, matched with their owners, along with maps marking each victim's last known location. Red strings connected key points, revealing a disturbing pattern. Sam had lived near each area at the time of the murders. Yet, something still nagged at Nathan. He couldn't ignore the tarot cards found at the crime scenes. They were deliberate, methodical, and deeply symbolic. Could Sam have an accomplice, someone guiding him, influencing his actions, or perhaps even selecting the victims? The thought unsettled Nathan, but he knew one thing for sure: they were getting closer to the truth. Nathan arrived at Piper's crime scene with a hardened expression, his keen eyes scanning every detail with methodical precision. He studied the exact location where she had been killed, analyzing her body's position and the brutal method used to remove her feet. Every crime scene told a story, and Nathan was determined to decipher this one before the killer struck again. The precision of the dismemberment suggested a disturbingly practiced hand, reinforcing his growing certainty that Sam Carter was responsible. Back at headquarters, Nathan and his team reviewed hours of CCTV footage from the casino, their eyes fixed on the grainy screens as they scanned the crowds for anything unusual. Then there he was, Sam Carter. The timestamp on the footage confirmed he had been present at the casino around the time of Piper's murder. That was it. This was their man. Now, they just had to find him before he claimed another victim. The urgency in the room intensified as officers rushed to track Sam's whereabouts. Their first stop, his workplace. But when they arrived, they were met with an unsettling revelation. Sam had taken an unexpected 2-week leave. His co-workers were surprised. Sam was known for his strict routine and rarely took time off. No one had seen or heard from him in days. Nathan clenched his jaw. Sam was on the move, and that meant one thing: he was planning something. Remember to like, subscribe, and share to others, so you don't miss an episode.